Welcome to Alan's Kitchen. We're going to be making reindeer chili today. You got 4 pounds of deer meat, 2 cups of dried cherries, bay leaves, thyme, 2 pounds of pearl onions, 2 pounds parsnips, 2 pounds turnips, and you're going to need 4 tablespoons of honey. So I added kidney beans. The recipe didn't call for that, but what kind of chili do you got if there's no beans in it? We're going to cook it for 2 hours in this pot we got right here, and bear with us, we're going to get started soon. So with the pearl onion, as you can see, it's very small. It's going to be very hard to peel the thing. The secret is to cut the end off where the root goes. Just a little smidgen of the end to make it loose. And we're going to put it in the bowl. You're going to boil it. Not in the bowl, obviously, but in the pot. And after that, you're going to put it in a strainer, run cold water over it, put it in the pot again, put some ice in the pot, and then run more water over it. Let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to scoop the ice off the top, strain it again, and then you'll be able to actually squeeze this end where the root isn't, and the skin will pop right off. The clean onion will pop right out, and you got yourself a peeled pearl onion. Now that we're waiting for the pearl onions to boil, we're going to start with the parsnips now. So you're going to cut this end off, and you're going to cut this end off. Then you're going to take the peeler. I'm probably going to end up using the old-fashioned one. This one looks a little difficult. And you're going to peel the skins off the outside. And you're going to cut it in half. And then cut right up into slices, and then cut into cubes. So we're going to do it that way. And I'll be back once I'm done with it. So we're back. Here's what I got done so far. I got them peeled. I got one diced. After I get the rest of it diced, we're going to get started on the turnips. And then I'm going to show you how to pop the skins off the pearl onions. And we're back. So I just finished up cutting the top and the bottom of the turnip off. That's what you're going to want to do. You're then going to want to peel it. Once you're done peeling, you're set to dice it. A fun fact is that the turnip and the parsnip are a winter vegetable. Who would have thought? I didn't even know that. So after this, I'm going to show you the pearl onions yet. Bear with me. So here's a follow-up on what we got left. I got all the veggies cut up. The parsnips and the turnips are all in there. I'm waiting for the onions to cool down yet so I can pop the skins off them, and then we can start searing the deer meat on the stove. I also have to sear the vegetables, which is going to be terrible because I got a lot of them. I'm doing a double batch, by the way, so if you're planning on cooking for a family of 8, you want to actually do half less than what I'm doing. So bear with me here and we'll get this finished. The moment we've all been waiting for, which is the onions. There you go. You got one right here. Take it, you're going to squeeze, and it's going to drop right in. That simple. It's an extra step, but it just made my life a whole lot easier. So I suggest you take the same step, or you're going to be sitting here for hours. So our next step was to take the deer meat and bread it lightly. You're supposed to use cubes. I already had it ground up from a couple months ago, so I just turned them into little tiny meatballs. It's probably going to work out better cubed. So I think, that's your best bet there. But it's ready to go in the pot. I melted a whole stick of butter on the bottom. You're going to lightly brown the meat, and then once you're done lightly browning the meat, you're going to throw the rest of your vegetables right in the pot and soak up all the juices you got left. And then I'll tell you the next step as soon as I finish this. So this is where we're at right now. We got everything right into the pot, all the veggies. As you can see, I got all the meat cooked up. It ended up falling apart, so I guess what you could do if you have ground deer meat is just throw a bunch of flour into the batch and mix it around and throw it in. Right now you want to bring this to a boil. I got 2 beers in it right now, so eventually we're going to add more to keep the pot going and not drying out. In about 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to start throwing in deer meat. Then you're going to want to stir it in, and eventually I'm going to let it go for an hour. Maybe an hour and a half. Probably an hour and a half would be better. So, this is where we're going right now. As you can see, it's steaming up real good. We're going to want to get it all filled up in there with steam. Actually, now is probably the good time to throw the deer meat in. Eventually, I'm going to put the stove down to maybe medium heat. Right now, I have it on high. I wanted to get it started. So, that's where we are right now. And as soon as I come back to you in a little bit, we'll see where we are then. Alright. So here we are now. It's about 6 or 7, maybe 8 minutes later. I got the thyme and I got the bay leaves right in the pot right now. All the meat's finally in. The beer's now soaking up into the meat that we got in. All the veggies is soaking it up. Every beer bottle I have is literally poured into here for the recipe. I got a fridge full for myself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let it simmer for an hour to an hour and a half. I'm going to go in there and play Plants vs. Zombies. And we're just going to let it go. Alright. So we're finally here. This is the end. As you can tell, it's done. So pretty much what's left is putting the dried cherries in. They actually smell really good. I'm used to smell cranberries and raisins, but they're in. Supposed to add 4 tablespoons of honey. I'm just gonna guess and assume whatever I put in is gonna be perfect. With a pot this big, I don't think you can overdo it on honey. I probably got, what, 3 tablespoons in now. That's probably going to be about 4 or 5. Alright. So this concludes the end. The only thing we're going to do left is stir the pot. It's very hard to do this with one hand. So we're going to stir. Now we're going to let it chill overnight with the cherries, the honey. It's going to infuse all the flavors in. And when you go to eat it tomorrow, it's going to be amazing. It smells fabulous. I already pulled out the thyme and the bay leaves. You're going to have to do that. That's pretty much the only thing that was left. So this concludes cooking with me. I'll be back with the next dish.